Right, episode 21 of our illustrious show Skew Bridge.
We're back.
We're back after a week or two's hiatus, depending on how long it takes me to edit this video. We're starting to build up now to the big confrontation with Clinty in episode 26. The first dominoes of that plotline are starting to fall in this episode, and Lucius's involvement can be
busy day.
felt more.
Like that, and I'll have to get some more stock in.
I don't know what it is about the green screen, but Gary almost looks cell shaded in this shot.
He always looks what? Sorry.
Cell shaded. You know, like when there's like that comic book style outline around the character. You know, like in Borderlands or something like that.
Yeah, he does.
Cell shade.
Yeah, but we're laying some foundation here for a later story, aren't we?
Yeah, this is the first domino in what leads to my confrontation with Clinty.
Yeah, people were getting like more of, like writing on the fly or one episode, writing one episode in advance. People were thinking a bit more long term and like think, right, how can this pan out? What can we do with this? And we'll lead up to this scene and this scene.
Yeah, the plot lines are really, like, our plot writing abilities are really starting to improve here, that's for sure. I think I remember, like, I think I remember Tog. I mean, you know how I have him like quoting all these different sci-fi films and such. I'll just pause it for a second because I need to talk about it. Like, I believe that's like because I think I wrote a lot of the scenes I had with Noah. So yeah, I think most of that characterization of him being a big sci-fi nerd kind of came from me a bit. Like, I think Tom, I think didn't actually intend to become like a big sci-fi nerd with Noah. But I think it's because I think it's the reason I had it happen is because how he made that quote about how he did that Jedi mind trick type thing to get Gary into the shop. Yeah, and I think that's where it came from.
It just snowballed from that a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like that's just how things went in Skew Bridge. Like one throwaway line could cause an entire characterization, couldn't it?
Yeah. You do something one week and you think, oh, I quite like that. I might develop that in my character a little bit. I think he's going to be a bit more like that.
Yeah. I mean,
I think early days as well is we didn't know how long it was going to run for or how long we were doing it for. So, when we were writing things, they were more, week to week. But then, because we've been doing this was episode 21, because we've been doing it a while. By this point, we were thinking more about we'll have proper plot lines and storylines that'll pan out.
Exactly.
But like we've said before, we didn't want to be like soaps where they introduce the idea of a storyline and then 6 months later you're still waiting for the storyline to happen. We wanted it to, you introduce the idea of a storyline and then it happens and
exactly, yeah.
Keeps it exciting and interesting. Look at my belly there, flipping heck.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst belly I've ever seen. It's say so.
I think we were thinking at this point, Daryl's always at the hairdresser, and I just addressed it like there. You're always in here, you.
Yeah, I was about to say something.
She said to me, "You're never in the pub."
And here we see Daryll in her natural habitat. Right, yeah. So
we've got a few more.
The second domino falls.
Star Wars quotes.
Yeah.
It's quite good though because these little Star Wars things, and like you said, him doing the Star Wars quotes and the Lord of the Rings quotes.
Yeah.
Then you wrote it into his character, but then really it's quite clever because he's just quoted to Anna here, and then that led on to we're having a Star Wars marathon, you should come along, which is, going to lead on to the confrontation later on. So quite good how, like, something very small snowballed and then, like, developed into a good story with a fantastic scene.
Yeah. Starts out innocent like this, and then the next second Clint is in the hospital.
Quite funny bit then when he said about Netflix and chill, completely unaware what that really means.
Netflix. Yes, no, you don't want to be Netflix and chilling with Gary. No. This
was Harriet's exit, wasn't it? I think she came back to do this, just to do this exit.
Just to do this last scene, yeah. It does give a good moment to Vine at the end too, like, just a little bit of snapback, you see.
It's quite nice though, because we got to do a scene for her to write it and to film it. But sometimes people would come and then they'd stop coming and then they'd never come again, and then you wouldn't hear from them. And you're like, well, are you coming back, or what do you want to do with your character? But she was quite good about it.
Yeah,
just herself and came back and filmed it.
Come back and finish it. Yeah, I mean that was going to be my plan if I knew I was going to be leaving soon. It was just definitely had a exit storyline of some kind written out. Well, I didn't have one written out, but I knew I had to come up with something to get out, because I couldn't just leave the audience hanging,
Yeah.
And this was supposed to be like setting up Gary and his heart-shaped rock, but like my hands were like completely covering it so no one could see it. No. Yeah, because there's going to be this whole thing where, like, if Gary ever got into like a romance arc or something, he would like give that to the girl he's dating, like that Heartstone,
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Watch your hand now.
Okay, hands. Okay, hand
Get
watch.
Some good.
Yeah. Exactly.
In the editing, the green screen's trying to catch up with you, so you get some good blur on your hand.
I'm faster than light.
Dear. So we've lost the C on the pub there.
Coronation still, yeah. Of course, and it's looking uncharacteristically quiet for this time of evening.
Yeah, I think this is this the first scene where we filmed it in? So that's Jim's studio or the background there.
Yeah.
Obviously blurred out. But I think that was probably the first time we'd done it, because we'd done the pub up, hadn't we? But all the scenes I think we'd shot had been facing the bar, whereas this is one that's actually facing the actual.
Yeah. So this was in that in-between period between us filming this on the with the studio background, and before we like filmed.
Well, I think that's green screened. It is actually green screened, but we've put the because we'd have all other places set up, and people would be in the room.
Something I just noticed just now. There's almost like I'm not sure if this was intentional or not, but there's like that kind of almost match cut between like Amelia on her phone, and then there's like Gary in the same position. It's just something that just caught my eye just then.
Yeah, I did that intentionally. No, I didn't.
You're a genius. Yeah, okay, but yeah, still, it was a good coincidence then in that case. Oh, I'm pretty sure that was an accident, by the way. Me like fumbling the Star Wars set. I think that was actually Zoe's, wasn't it?
I like how Tom
Yeah. What
he says now. We can pretend they don't exist. The prequels. I'm with him 100% on that.
I don't know. I'm on the prequels are underrated camp. I wouldn't say they're like absolute masterpieces. No, but I mean.
Well, I challenge you to a duel then. Okay.
Okay. Lightsaber duel. No. Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not, like I said, they're not masterpieces, but they're still good cinema, good to watch. And
yeah.
I
think the expectation was so high for them. That's the problem.
That's the thing, yeah. And that's like leads into another one of my controversial film opinions that has nothing to do with Skew Bridge. So I'm just gonna pause it a second so I don't lose it. So it actually leads to So I actually think, and this is one of my controversial film opinions, that Godfather 3 is not that bad of a film, but it's tied in with the first two Godfathers. If it was just its own independent mafia film, I feel like people would appreciate it a little bit more.
Well, you know what? I've never watched the third one.
No.
I've only watched the first two. But I've heard a few people say that The Godfather 3 is actually okay. That's the problem, though, when your expectations high and when you've had something else.
Yeah.
Sometimes it ruins something.
Hmm.
Like, for example, for me, True Detective is the finest thing that's ever been filmed. And that True Detective 2 was just horrendous. But really, looking at it, it's probably not that bad. But because True Detective 1 was so good, the expectation's high for 2. And anyway.
And it's also somewhat similar, I feel, to have you ever watched the 1998 Godzilla film, like the American one?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, yeah, that's another one that's like not well liked, and I feel like it's at least a perfectly serviceable kaiju film. But if they just had a different name on it other than Godzilla, like if it was named something else, it had no. If they weren't trying to tie it in with the Godzilla franchise, again, that's another one I feel like people would be okay with,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the thing, though, isn't it? Everything's so subjective. Like, there'll be some films that I like that other people don't like, or music or anything like any kind of art.
Yeah.
It's so subjective, and sometimes you end up liking things, and sometimes you even know that it's rubbish, but you love it anyway.
Nostalgia.
And I think that's the thing with art, isn't it? And just tying it into Skew Bridge, there's a lot of people who really like Skew Bridge, who love it, and I've found it's people who like Lord of the Rings and Doctor Who, and I don't think it's nothing to do with the quotes that we put in them about Lord of the Rings and Doctor Who.
No.
But I tend to find that people who liked Doctor Who and Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, this struck a chord with them. I don't know why. It's just something I've observed that anyway. The few people who've told me they really enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, Lord of the Rings is pretty universally beloved, really, the original trilogy.
Well, you know what, mate? I don't like it. Not one bit.
Ooh, okay. Them fighting words, son.
Well, I watched the cartoon version growing up, and I think I watched it that much. I don't know. For me, the films are like a 9-hour Jurassic Park running away from one special effect after the other. I've not watched The Hobbit, but I quite like the Hobbit book. But
yeah, anyway. No, if you don't like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, you probably won't be liking the Hobbit one that much either. It's even more. Yeah, it's yeah. There is like someone who actually made it into a single 4-hour movie, like someone who recut the entire Hobbit film trilogy down into one 4-hour cut to make it more accurate to the book. So I mean, it's definitely worth a watch. Like, I try and link it to you sometime.
Alright, cool.
Okay, tangent over. Let's finish this episode.
It's longer than the episode, this commentary.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a good commentary if it weren't. And there's no masterful.
I love Tom's little funny things.
Yeah.
Not too bad green screen that and lighting.
Not too bad. Yeah, it wasn't blurring as much there. And did Jack just pickpocket Clint? Is that what happened there?
Well, we'll have to see in the next episode, mate.
Yeah, exactly. I see. I think I see the. I think I'm about to see I think you mean by the continuity issue. Oh wait, I see you.
Yeah,
so you
this is
darkened
later in the
this.
day. I thought, well, she's just gone for a Star Wars marathon. What's she doing running outside? But this is later in the day.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. 'Cause I thought like it seemed like a clear evening there, but it still seems like fairly bright day or something in the other shot with Zoe there. Yeah,
That's just. It's the camera's fault, that, mate.
I see. Yes, there's like fog in the lens or something. Yeah.
Too many lumen camera. Not lumen. What it's.
Yeah. So this is Ian here, like doubling up as Brian. Yeah. So I mean, and then we did a lot of doubling, didn't we? There's like James firstly with the as the burglar.
Yeah.
Trying to think. I think I double up as a police officer in like the next episode. I think when they're in the hospital. So it's a whole lot of doubling. So much doubling you can make it the capital of Ireland.